Hi everybody, it's Amy at Crafty Cat, and I'm back today to work on the Grungy journal, the collab with Carol Laws, and it's hashtag grungecolab, and that's all one word, all lowercase. Don't put a space here. I know it looks like there's a space, but it's not. And you can find other people that are participating, if anybody else participates other than Carol and I, but you can also go between Carol and I that way, or find the videos that we have done on it that way, or on Instagram or Facebook or any of those things, as you know. So how is everybody? I hope that you're all doing fantastic. I'm doing well. Just got looking at this cover, and you know, there's always little bits that you got to fix with collage once it dries, because you always get a little bit of lifting, especially when you're using wet mediums and stuff like that. So I always like to go along and fix any of those things. So that's what I'm doing right here. But yeah, I hope you guys are all doing well. I want to say hugs and blessings to Linda, Susan, Pat, and Sandy. Love you guys. Thank you so much for your kind comments, for watching my videos, always commenting. I really appreciate you guys very, very, very much. So thank you. So I have a problem with this particular cover. And what the problem is, I will show you, is my pages, and I will have to cut some of these down, but that's for another day. For some reason, to me, this particular file folder is feeling very tight right here, and maybe it's just that I haven't done a one signature in a while, but I don't even have any ephemera in there, and I have a whole stack of ephemera that could potentially go in this journal, and we'll go through these real quick just so you can see and maybe remember, because we've made these together, most of them. There might be a few that aren't. This is all the way from my first 50 stack challenge, I believe. Yeah, most of these are from the 50 stack challenge at some point. There's just a tag. And then this boy I used twice. This is a paper bag, a little sack, and this is the bottom of the sack, and it's just like a slight tuck. It only goes that deep. So, and then it's hooked to a guest check. That's fun. And this and these things all could potentially end up in this journal. So as you can see, we don't, I'll do these, and we just made those. This one I really like, and definitely want in there. I really like making things with the playing cards. I think they turn out pretty cool. That's just this brown packing paper folded over and made into a pocket here, I think. Oh no, it's just got a tab on it. The pocket is here. You know, you make these things and you forget how you made them. But yeah, so we just have all kinds of things. This cool envelope. And you can see it's pretty thick. I mean, I'm not saying all these are going to go in here anyway, but that spine isn't going to cut it. So what we're going to do is make that spine bigger. So that's the first thing we're going to do. And then we're going to add these in. Someone asked me how I'm going to use these. I'm going to use these as pages in this journal. So those will need to go in there. But first, we're going to cut down the middle here. And just like you would do if you were using an old book front and back, and the spine was too small, we're going to basically cut it open so we can make the spine a little bit bigger. I'm going to put this piece of fabric and another piece of the file folder, and then we will cover the inside of this as well, so that I don't know if this piece is big enough. Not really. I might have to make another piece to go in there, because it's, well, it might make it. We'll see. Anyways, that will go inside of there, and so it'll be plenty thick, and I'm not worried about that at all. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut that, because it's just a file folder, and it is kind of sad to cut it because I do like the way it is, but it's still all going to be there. I'm not taking any of it away. I'm just trying to I don't know what I was thinking. I've done this before with one thickness for a journal, you know, or one file folder just folded in half like that, and it was fine. But for some reason, I guess maybe I just have a lot of stuff for this particular journal. A lot of pages. Probably could take some pages out, but I like them, so I'm keeping them. So there. I need to cut this down as well. So I just want a piece of this. Move these. My goodness. That's what I do quite often when I work, is just fly by the seat of my pants and have things all piled up, and I don't know. I think after so long I would get better at that. But I'm not. And I don't need a huge, I'm just going to start with 1 inch because I'm still only going to make one signature. It's going to be a fat one, so I think I need to make sure. And then we're going to cut it again at 9 inches. So 1 inch by 9. You could make it thinner, I suppose. But yeah, I think that's going to be just fine. So yeah, hope you guys are staying cool. Yes, my fan is going. I'm sorry, I know that the noise can be very annoying, but I'm going to melt, and I'm going to attempt to get this all right side up. This is the way it goes. Is that right? Yes, this is how it goes. So we're gonna flip it over like this before I get a chance to do it upside down like I did the other day with the mini. The mini. So this will go in here, and it isn't all covered with all kinds of things, I know, but I think it'll be fine. I'm not gonna worry about it. So I need to hook that together. I'm gonna use just some paper. I'm just trying to find it, figure out what kind of paper I want to use. Doesn't have to be anything special. Hold on just a minute. I'm gonna grab a different paper. I had some of this over here, but of course the only place I have it is over in my paper shelf across the way. So I'm going to use this as my hinge. So I need 9 by, is this, I think this paper is 9 inches high. Yep. So I just need 2 strips. And these aren't super thick or anything like that, but actually I think I might just go straight across there because it's not going to matter. Like I said, there's going to be other things holding it, so it's not like this one piece of paper is going to be holding the whole spine. It's just going to connect to these. Okay. So then you need to kind of make sure you get these sort of straight so that they're not wonky. And then you do want to leave at least just a bit of a gap, which can be very tricky because everything always wants to move all over the place when you're trying to do this. And then again, just a bit of a gap. And I'm not super great at this because I haven't done it very much, but. And then I'm going to put lots of glue on here. So what are you guys up to? Are you working on journals? Are you just melting or freezing or whatever the case may be? The smoke appears to be better, but they haven't gotten that fire out. So I think it's just obviously the way the airflow is that day, which, you know, Captain Obvious and all, but Yeah, some days it's just really bad. And then it was funny that day, what was it? It's the day before yesterday. I told you the smoke had come in, rolled in, and then that evening, my husband and I were watching the news, and it was nice and clear again. So, yeah, don't know. It just keeps doing whatever it wants to do. I'm going to push on these to make sure that they get nice and flat because they were kind of bowed. And I don't have Tyvek. You can use Tyvek to do that, and that works great. I just don't have any. But I'm going to be using a piece of fabric on the spine, so I'm not that concerned. Let's face it, these are not going to last forever regardless. Eventually the paper will just give way. But, you know, we want them to last as long as they can. Alright, so now I have a spine. Just like that. Okay. Alright, and then our piece of this is going to go on here. I am thinking I may wait. No, that doesn't look quite long enough. I guess it's because it's puckering a little bit. Yeah, I think it'll be fine. Because I want to sew in my signature, then I'll put that piece of fabric on. I'm not crazy about seeing the signature strings, but that's all personal preference. If that doesn't bug you, then don't worry about it. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work. I thought it would. So I'm gonna put you on hold just a minute and get another piece. I'll be right back. Okay, I have a new piece, 2 sheets of that same packing paper. Yeah, very thin, but when you put 2 together, it's a nice thickness. Not like hard, like cardboard, but it's a nice thickness. And then after I glued it, I did this, crumpled it all into a ball and undid it because I want the wrinkles. If you don't want the wrinkles, obviously don't do that. don't wrinkle it. But I wanted the wrinkles, so I wrinkled it. And then I think we will cut our piece that we need to size. I'm actually gonna tear it. So I need to figure out where I need to tear it. And I'm gonna kind of just go right in the middle. And the reason I'm doing that is because sometimes the edges don't get glued all the way, or they're not quite even or whatever, and I want it to be 2 complete sheets, if you see what I'm saying. So I'm gonna mark here and here for a corner, and down here, and wish me luck, because tearing it straight is going to be the tricky part. I don't need this at the moment. Getting it down to a manageable size is always the trick. I'll just start here and go from there. So I'm going to try to get it straight. The ruler doesn't go all the way to the bottom, so, or I mean, it does go all the way to the bottom, but the mat ends. So I'm just gonna try. You know what I might have to do? I'm rethinking, sorry. I'm gonna glue it down, and then I'll probably cut it instead of tear it. Sorry, you know, it's always a work in progress. I know you guys know that, but if you're just starting, you've really always got to be thinking about the next step and what that can mean. So, sorry for the confusion. I mean, you could tear it. I'm just afraid I'm going to tear it crooked, and then I'm not going to have enough, and I'll have to do a whole nother sheet, and I don't want to do that. So, but if you have a long time to play with it, then you could probably definitely tear it. I could let it dry completely and then tear it too, which maybe I'll do that. And we'll work with some of the pages while it's drying. And yes, this is a lot of glue, you're right. But on covers, I really like to make sure there's enough all the way to the edge. I might put the middle corners on this since it's a little bit thinner. It's not the thickness of a book. We'll just plop it down, and then that way it doesn't really matter as long as it's all covered. I feel like I keep pulling off a paper towel and then I don't know where it goes. Okay. I'm gonna flip it over and I'm gonna get some glue that's gonna come out because there's no way around that, and just push. And it's really important to push that glue out to the edges so they can make sure you, like I said, the edges are important to have all glued. And we're gonna have a mess under here. That's why I'm trying not to move it a whole bunch from its original spot that I had it. Oh, it's not as bad as I thought. I'm not worried about this because it's going to get cut. I just want it to be stuck down entirely. And like I said, I think I'll let it dry. And then, got a little more out there. Revisit. And if I have to, I'll go put a little more glue. I'll use my art glitter glue. Get along the edge. Okay, I'll let that dry. And we'll look at our pages. So, like I said, I'm going to put these in. We need to grungy those up. I've folded some pages just for fun. I've seen some other people do that, and it just looked cool, so I wanted to try it and see how I like it. But we're going to put our extra grungy pages in. Oh, I did misspeak on one of the pages. I need to take these out because I want to make them inky. On one of these pages I said, I thought this was my Grungy Fall. This is not. This is from the Kids in Costume digital. So that's where that comes from. That's going to go there. And this, I'm going to turn sideways so I know to put those back. And I'll get that other one out in a minute too. But we're going to grungy these up. I also have this. Is it dry all the way? Doesn't look quite dry. This is a piece of like baking paper or this deli paper. It's a little waxy on one side. I just crumpled it, tore it to the right size, put some Oh, this stuff, the Ranger alcohol ink. I use the caramel. This is ginger, but I used the caramel color and just dripped it, and then I brushed it a little bit with a brush, and then I added Distress Oxide Spray and Vintage Photo and Wild Honey. And that's all the beading you're seeing on there. So I might just get that a little bit wet because that'll help oxide ink go. And while it's wet, I'm gonna take this and just lightly pick a little bit of that up so it doesn't get wasted. Well, it won't really get wasted, it's on the paper, but that's just kind of fun. I'm gonna set this aside to dry too. Got lots of things drying. And we're gonna have more things drying. So this is the graph paper with some of the cicada wing, and I think I'm just gonna tear around the edges of it. I always forget, I saw Carol, she had a page that was folded not directly in the middle, it was a little cattywampus, and I always forget to do that, and I love how that looks. I'll have to try that with something. I guess I could do it with this since I'm gonna make it grungy anyway. It won't matter too much if it's got, see, like you fold it not perfectly in the middle. And it's good to do with a smaller page, because obviously if you do it with one of the full-size pages in your journal, it's gonna hang out in spots, which you probably don't want. I don't know, maybe you do, but I wouldn't really want them all hanging out. They'll just get really dog-eared and stuff, which I guess again on grungy it's not that big of a deal, but you might not want it like that. I don't want to lose the writing space though, so I'm not going to make it so grungy that it's not usable. So yes, anybody is welcome to join in and make something grungy. And like I said, you don't have to have my digitals to play along. If you don't have them and are just starting out and all that, just use some paper. If you got some inks or paints, or you know, you can use acrylic paints on them, whatever. Because it's always fun to get new ideas and see what other people are doing. So it's not one of those things where you have to go buy my stuff to participate. I think with that other side of this one, I might just spray a little coffee, and I'm using the Scorched Timber to ink this. This particular piece of the cicada wing is fairly dark. Make sure it stays attached. I kind of like the way that's folded though up there, so I think I'll leave that. So yeah, just think about how you can make your pages a little more interesting. It's kind of fun to go through a journal where everything's not perfect, and I'm saying that even though I am one of those people that's always you know, folding pages all perfectly and stuff, just because that's the way my brain is a lot of the time. But for a grungy journal and like Halloween journals and those kind of things, you can have a little bit more freedom, I feel like. So if it's there, do this really well. And the level of grunge is not important either. So like if you, like Carol tends to be less grungy than I am, it doesn't, that's fine. Whatever level you're comfortable with. Because it'd be real boring if we all did everything the same, right? So if you just like the papers the way they are grungy, and then maybe add a little ink to some edges, and that's as grungy as you want to go, fine, that's fantastic. This is just coffee. It's got some rubbing alcohol in it to keep it from getting moldy. You can put it in the refrigerator. It's just my refrigerator's downstairs. I'll never remember to grab it before I come up here, so I'd rather just put a little bit of rubbing alcohol in it. Okay, so now that's gonna have to dry. Put a little, oops, that's water. Water works, but a little bit on there. Okay, so that I'm gonna let set because I don't want to mess with it and fold it a whole bunch and mess it up. This one, I guess I could have just sopped that up, huh? Oh, look, it oxidized in some spots. That's pretty cool. Old calculus book. Nothing I love more than putting ink all over a calculus book. Luckily, my kids were very good at math, hallelujah. I think the thing that really helped my daughter, if you have grandkids or kids that are struggling with math, put them in the music program. Because something about learning to play music, you know, reading music and learning to play it and all that, helps your brain make the connections for math. I don't know, don't ask me, but it worked for my daughter for sure. She was struggling. We put her in music. And she doesn't love math, but she can definitely do it, so just something to think about. Whatever helps, right? That's what I'm for. Makes our lives better. It's good. Trying to get those fine dots kind of again like I had on the other side of that. And then a little water. You could use coffee. Whatever. And I'm not smashing and smearing, so it's gonna, you know, it'll change the way it's gonna look. So you get a little bit more of the dottiness. Let's see, do we have anything else we want to do that too? Let's do this again. Because you can still write on that, I feel like, without a problem. I do love grunge, you guys. I'm sure you can tell. It's so much more my thing than like lacy is. I love lacy. I love the way other people do lacy. And I have done it and do like it. It's just not my favorite. Okay, so that one's gonna have to dry too before I can ink on the inside here. Okay, so that's gonna go over there to dry as well. And I have my fan blowing, so it should be quick. I'm gonna wipe my hands off. I'm gonna use a little rubbing alcohol because that's what I have right here, which I know isn't great for your skin, but as far as drying them out, it's good at drying them out. I didn't wear my gloves. I didn't even do that bad with the ink the other day and wore gloves. Didn't wear gloves today and look at me. Yeah. About par for the course. I just don't want to get extra ink all over everything. All right, so let's look at this again. That's where those are going to go. I need to remember that. Is that the way that went? No, it's upside down. So I need to fold some other pages, and I don't really think there's any rhyme or reason to it. It's just sort of like, you know, you just fold it however, you know, like pages do. They get dinged up sometimes. Just adds a little interest. Okay. I'm gonna have to, I think I'm gonna tear these pages instead of cutting them this time. And we'll do one more. I think that's the same one, huh? Yeah. It really got folded a lot. Okay, oh, we need to do this one. And then you can add things to this. This I have folded like that, so you could turn it into a tuck or a flip out, like cook something else onto it. And I don't know yet because I haven't decided what I want to do to it. But I'm sure we'll figure something out. I just wiped my hands all off. Maybe we'll just spritz this one and not worry about dipping it so I don't have to get all inked up again. So I know this is everybody's least favorite. I don't know. It's, if you want to see the whole process, I guess this is just how it goes. It's just how it goes. I didn't even make it to calculus. I barely passed algebra, so. Not my thing. I could put a little crackling campfire on that one too. Do like that one. A little bit of this water, and then that'll have to dry before I can do the other side again. So some of these you probably won't see until next time, but let's see how the cover's doing. It should be dry enough. It still feels cool. You can tell glue's still wet by how cool the piece is. Like it almost feels cold, so you don't want to it's not all the way dry, you don't want to mess with it. I'm going to just let it be. Alright. Let's look at some of these pieces and see if we want, well, if we know what we want. Oh, except I need to tear these down, don't I? Maybe I better do that first. You kind of want, if you can, for your pages to be even, obviously, with each other. Sometimes, you know, a little bit, because you're always going to get them sticking out from the center because, you know, obviously you can see it. This one is not as deep as the first one. So, and some of that does get better when it does get sewn into the signature, but it's just good to even them up if you can. So like it's kind of starting with this one. I'm just going to tear a little bit off of that. Probably going to have to tear some off of all of them, huh? Probably would be smart to tear first, then fold. Weird, I know. I always do that every time. Gotta put enough weight on the paper. Well, we're going to just go with that. Yeah, that looks fine. And then the next one, I'll have to have a little bit torn off. And I'm going to get, by tearing, kind of a different, you know those books, I'm sure you've seen them, that have the sort of off-cut edges where all of the edges kind of have that ruffly look to them. You're going to get a little bit more of that kind of thing rather than, and yes, now I'm tearing the first one, but I just want that torn edge on it. So just a little bit. This grouping. Okay, so see, those are all starting to line up to each other. That's fine. I usually do this with my cutter, and I cut them equal to each other, but let me see how far this one sticks out. A lot. A lot. So basically what you're doing is each page you're going to tear off a tiny bit more, and it's such a small amount. You just got to keep checking and saying, okay, yeah, the next one needs to be torn this much. And they're not going to be perfect, so just know that before you even start. Even when you cut them, they're never 100% perfect. Especially when you have papers like this that are wrinkled or uneven, warped. Okay, that looks good. Ooh, this one's going to be difficult. So we're just tearing these tops. Yeah, I would definitely tear first and fold later. I did not think that through very well. See, that's what I mean. You got to think of every step. every step. So I think what I might do is tear these folded ones too, so they're even, because otherwise that's going to be weird if you unfold them. It'll be weird. Plus it kind of makes those folds look better, I think. And I may ink the edges, but I'll do that on my own time so I don't drive you crazy with that. Okay, how much is this one hanging out? It's starting to feel really good though, like that crunchiness that I like. See, you can see the pages are, I don't know, I like that look. It's just easier for me to tear this direction, probably because I'm right-handed. But however it works best for you. I know that some people go from the bottom. I try to do that, but that's usually bad for me. So you just got to figure out its weight on this, and also, which I don't always do, but try to tear towards the ruler instead of away so you don't pull the papers out from under the ruler. I think this way. Yeah. Just tips that I've learned messing with it. And sometimes if I have something long, I'll stop and move down so that I can put pressure down further. Because a lot of times when you have your hands like this and you're trying to hold it, the middle part will slide out when you go to tear. So okay, these ones like shrunk, so probably because they're all crinkled up. I don't think. Ooh, it does need a little torn off. This will be interesting. This I'm not going to give any guarantees on. It's a little bit crazy already. So I'm going to move to put pressure. Okay, that made me sweat a little. Thought I was going to tear a big old chunk out of it. Which way does it? I think it goes this way. Yeah. Alright, there's that one. I'll unfold this because we learned, and I'll go back and fix the one that I didn't tear all the way. In far enough. Yeah, see how they all start to pretty much be the right size. Okay, this stuff I'm not going to tear with the ruler because I know it won't work. I don't even know if I'll be able to tear it entirely because it has those fibers in it. It's just not very reliable where the tear is going to end up being. It gives me the shivers. It's like tearing cotton or something. Eek is all I have to say about that. Yeah, I don't mind a few fibers stick out, that's fine. It is sad to rip the tops off of these. Oh, I keep forgetting to put her shop in. I will try to remember to do that, I promise. Because this is really cool ledger paper. And it's nice and clear. Some of them are a little bit kind of blurry, you know. I don't like that. And I know it's hard because you're copying or scanning or whatever old papers, and it's hard to get them totally clear. Believe me, I know, I've tried, and it's not easy, so I get it, but those ones are really nice and clear. And that one, hopefully, yeah, I didn't tear too much off the house. The old rickety house. Oh, is that? Yeah, that's right. Okay, so now we have those all nice. I like it. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to ink those, but I won't do it right now. So, some of these could go in. That might look cool on there. Do I want it on that side of the page? I might want it on the other side of the page. So on this end, maybe? So you open it. I don't know, it might be better over here. Because when you open it, you could write on that a little bit easier, I feel like. You can wait to put your ephemera in until you sew it into the signature, but a lot of times I put it in first. It doesn't matter. There's not a right or wrong. It's just what you prefer or what makes your life easier. Yeah, I think I'll put that right there. I like it there. That one's grungy. Can't remember what I made that for. I need to do something to the tags. I just don't know yet, but we'll get there. I think I could also, I think I'll go to that black line. I'll just leave it as an option, so I will do it as, you could put another pocket back here if you wanted to, but you don't have to. Or not put another pocket there, but put something in this pocket. Oh my word. You can tell where the concentration is. Not on talking, clearly. Not on the talking. Okay. So yeah, it'd be fun to see something neat through that window. I just don't know. I don't know what yet, but we will figure it out. I can't remember what video I made all these for, because a lot of them are for 50 stack challenges. Some are for what's it called? Nothing but neutrals. Some I just made because I like to make them grungy. Yeah. Don't know. This one I really like. I definitely want this in there. I like the U on there. So if we go to this side, I probably want this hanging off. Do I want it hanging off? I don't know that it doesn't really need to hang off. I don't know if I like that there. The old bingo card. Don't know. Bag. That one actually looks kind of good on there, huh? Because of the red and the blue. What did I put in here? Oh yeah, it was just some paper, a map. I think I'll put that one in there, and I'll leave it as a belly band here. So we'll just put glue top and bottom. Except we're gonna have to make sure this gets glued better, or it'll be catching whatever you put in and out of there every time. And what I'm going to do, just to make sure, I'm going to put some tape over that. And I know you're not going to see it. Oh, I hate it when it does that. This is brand new too, because this is from Collage Soup. Yes, that makes me mad when it does that. I know, you're not going to see it, but I don't like this. It's not working right. Where's my... I don't ever trust washi tape to stick for very long, so that's why I'm doing that. Any washi tape. I know that's adding another edge, right? But I think it's a little more flat than this paper edge is. So that's why. You don't have to do that. It's just a preference. Just go real slow with your washi. Really slow. So eventually I will get the cover cut out, and you'll probably see it next time, because oh my word, yeah, I need to let you guys go. Sorry if that was really painful today. I try. Just know a lot of people want to see how to do all the things, so I like to, when I make a journal, I like to go through all of it, because we always have new people. All right, I better pull that out of there, because I can just see that gluing down, and then, yeah, see, got glue on it. Then it will be stuck to the page. Okay, how about... Okay. That's open. Are these dry? Yeah. This one's not all the way, so I think I'll just let it finish drying before I try to fold it, but this is cool. I like these math pages all done up like that. All right, guys, I will let you go there. Thank you for joining me. Thank you if you stuck with me till the end. I know it wasn't really exciting, but it's just part of the process. So I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and thank you to Carol. And thank you to everyone who's been hopping back and forth between our channels. I really appreciate that very, very much. I think it's fun to see what we're both doing. So I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I will talk to you soon. Love ya. Bye.